like to call the fire board meeting to order. Mr. Z, will you call roll, please?
Mr. Sinagra. Mr. Graffia.
Here.
Mr. Joseph.
Present.
Mr. Havis.
Here.
Mr. Richtel.
Here.
Mr. Mayu. Mr. Wells.
Here.
Mr. Vial. Ms. Hyde.
Here.
Ms. Ciotat.
Here. Why aren't y'all sitting in the middle? Y'all don't want to be on the camera? All right, public input. Anyone wishing to address any agenda items? If not, we will have the adoption of minutes. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to look over the minutes that Jill sent from the July 22nd meeting. I'll entertain a motion to accept those.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Have a motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Ingraffia. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Mr. Graffia.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
Mr. Richtel.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
All right, Hammond Fire Matters.
Yes, he put in to ratify 2 part-time firefighter positions.
Put your mic on. Say it again.
Two part-time firefighter positions to ratify.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Havis. Roll call, please.
Mr. Graffia.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
Mr. Richtel.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Ponchatoula.
Ponchatoula is ratifying a firefighter position from full-time to part-time.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
A motion by Ms. Ciotat, second by Mr. Wells. Roll call, please.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
Mr. Richtel.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Mr. Graffia.
Yeah. Next one is to surplus a Taylor Power Systems generator. That's the generator we replaced out at Station 4. The new one is in place and running, and we just want to surplus it and get it out of the way.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Ciotat, second by Mr. Ingraffia. Roll call, please.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
Mr. Richtel.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Mr. Graffia.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
All right, Independence.
Independence is to ratify a full-time firefighter position.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Joseph. Roll call, please.
Mr. Richtel.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Mr. Graffia.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
All right,
So-
Manchac.
In Manchac, we're ratifying the captain position, pay from monthly to hourly. This is the one we was paying him monthly, but Chief Joyner wants to put him on an hourly rate instead of paying him a flat rate.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Ms. Ciotat, second by Mr. Wells. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Mr. Graffia.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
Mr. Richtel.
Next is we transferred a Bauer compressor to Wilmer Fire. Wilmer Fire needed a compressor. Manchac had one. Chief Joyner and myself decided if it was really necessary to have one in Manchac, and he decided that he could transfer it to Wilmer because they were in need of one.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Ms. Ciotat, second by Mr. Sinagra. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hyde.
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat.
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra.
Yes.
Mr. Graffia.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Mr. Havis.
Yes.
Mr. Richtel. Mr. Wells.
Yeah.
All right, Husser Fire Matters.
Hulser Fire Matters, we are going through, I'm doing right now, we're going through all the assets we have. We're going down through there, we're surplusing stuff we can't find or no longer is in use. Here's a list from Husser that we got, so I will be going around all the fire departments and doing a hands-on asset look around. So as we go through the process from now to the end of the year, I'm gonna start surplusing a lot more stuff that we can't find or don't need anymore and start getting it out of these fire stations. So that's a list of the stuff here.
Well, Dale, y'all gonna have,
Ours is not need no more. We don't have nothing missing.
Right. So a lot of the radios, if you look, 2008, a lot of radios are no longer in use or can't be repaired. So you get old stoves, old refrigerators, from 94 is a refrigerator. So when it breaks, they just leave it instead of surplusing it and getting it out of there. So now we're just going down through there and surplusing stuff that just sitting around the fire station.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of room, Dale. I'll make that motion.
And moving forward, David,
I'll second it.
now that you in place, when a refrigerator goes out, we'll take care of that then and not let it accumulate.
Exactly, that's the plan.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Sinagra, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Ingraffia, second by Mr. Sinagra. Roll call, please.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Next one is ratify 3% cost of living pay raises for Hustler Fire Department. Chief Vernon wants to give his people 3% cost of living.
How many more departments do we have left that hasn't done the 3% cost of living? You make too much anyway, Stone. You make way too much.
I want to say there's 2 or 3 left,
Okay.
but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I want it to be known too also, excuse me,
Dale,
this
you
is
need to
not
come-
me or my
Dale.
assistant chief,
Dale.
this is our people.
Over the
You-
mic.
Dale, you need to come to the microphone if you want to talk. It won't pick up on the
Yeah.
recording.
Just to
Yeah,
put it in the
this,
record.
this right here is strictly for my personnel. This ain't me or my assistant chief. We're trying to do something to retain these people because we're still, to this date, losing people. Hopefully, January, things change, but, I mean, I've got to be able to provide them with a little something. I mean, you got $8 an hour up to $11 an hour with all search, you know, so I need a little something to help them out.
Appreciate it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Ingraffia. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial? Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Natal Benny?
The next one is ratify a pay increase for firefighter 1 certification. His
So moved.
employee got a certification of firefighter 1.
Have a motion by Mr. Ridgel.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Wells. Roll call, please.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yeah.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Next one is to ratify a full-time firefighter position. He is replacing one that left.
Also move.
Second.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Ridgel, second by Ms. Ciotat. Roll call, please.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yeah.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
The next one is we're going to surplus a fire engine, Ferrera fire apparatus. We've looked at different scenarios to remount it, and nobody wants to touch it. So we are going to surplus it.
That'll go out on bid.
We're going to put it on Gov Deals.
Gov, okay.
Yeah. So that and the generator before, we'll put those on Gov Deals.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Ridgel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
All right, 8th Ward.
So next one is 8th Ward, ratify a full-time firefighter position. You just adding another one? Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Ciotat, second by Mr. Ingraffia. Roll call, please.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
The next one is to ratify the surplus of a 2005 Ford Rescue and a 2006 Ford Rescue. Chief Byers has explained to me, he's had multiple mechanics look at it. I sent one out there just to look at it, and the motors, they can't be repaired. So we've looked at a couple of options, maybe to remount those, and the cost-wise versus just buying a new one, it's not worth us to remount those either.
and to buy a new one, we're gonna wait until we
Yes.
do the, okay. I'll make that motion.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Joseph. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall?
Yes.
Go ahead, monthly reports.
Review and approval of monthly budget reports. I believe, Ms. Jill sent them all out to everybody to review in the packet.
Yeah, we got it.
Motion to accept the financials.
Yes, got it, Bridge.
Need a second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Havis. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Administrators report.
Next one, I have a black and white copy machine that I got a color one in the office. We got a black and white one I didn't really know that we owned. I'm just gonna surplus it. Tried to give it to the OEP, but they said they were good. So I still will look around in the parish if somebody could use one. But at this point, we just need to surplus it and get it off the asset list.
I'll make that motion.
Go ahead. Take it.
Who
Second.
seconded?
I'll second.
All right, motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Joseph. Roll call, please.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
Mr. Sinagra?
Yes.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Ristall? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
One other thing I'd like to say is Chief Byers, before we come in here, he handed me a check from Ida for $234,798.09. So that's reimbursement for Hurricane Ida. I'm guessing labor and equipment and things like that. So just want to put that out there.
Nice payday.
And that's all I got.
Is that insurance?
I'm not sure how that come through. I think it was just Hurricane Ida. It's the same thing that Hammond did a couple, I don't know how many months ago that was now. Same situation, just reimbursement for Hurricane Ida.
Okay.
Expenses.
All right, other fire matters?
Discussion and possible action to hire additional legal counsel.
What, we're looking, y'all know we had looked at the HR company. We didn't feel comfortable going forward with that at this time, but we still have some questions about employment and employees and, you know, are the firemen our employees? Are they not our employees? So we want to bring in an attorney that specializes in that just to sit down and answer our questions. So that's why we're going to do that. And then we have some other HR issues that we have some questions about that we just want to make sure that we're doing right. And so that's the reason for this.
Did the committee meet?
Yes, sir, this afternoon.
So we're gonna have a report from the committee?
Well,
We don't know what they did. I mean, I don't, maybe somebody else.
So we just discussed hiring them. So it's just getting specific legal counsel that this is what they do. This is their expertise on you know, the civil service law to keep us where we need to be moving forward. Because I mean, I've talked to several different people, and everybody seems to have a different opinion. We just need to know where we stand legally, I think, is the idea of getting a legal counsel involved, so we know where we're at.
So did you also encounter the question whether they, I guess we look at whether they are our employees or not?
Right.
Yeah, you talked about that. And then I'm wondering, do we have an idea how much it's gonna cost or who we're thinking about?
So Bridget, do you know
I'm sorry, I was asking Jill a question, I didn't hear yours.
the cost of the legal, is it gonna charge us what Brad charges, or is it gonna be less?
We,
You can't get much less, boss.
David, well,
All right, Brad, that
David,
was
have
your-
you gotten any figures from them, or you,
So we don't have, we do have some.
I don't have any hard figures of it, but the questions that that we've been discussing and talking about, it ain't gonna be but a couple hours of legal fees that I can see. Unless it's
We just
something
have
more
some
than that.
questions we want to, I mean, it may not even, yeah, it may just be a phone call, though. We may
I
not
was just
even have
wondering how
a
much it
meeting.
was gonna cost, and if we already had somebody in mind, that's all. Oh, two questions.
Yeah, there's been somebody recommended by Butch Browning, and also Lacey Landra had recommended that we do this, and she had thrown a name out, and it was the same name that Butch gave us.
So
So,
they were the same name?
yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
And this was discussed with Butch, and this was kind of, he kind of started.
Turn your mic on.
It might,
Yeah, it was discussed with Butch, and Butch kind of kicked this conversation off, when we
well,
were
yeah, I mean,
discussing
I agree with the purpose that it need to be done, and that
Yeah.
those are some determinations that we need to know for ourselves. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have an idea how much it was gonna cost and maybe who it might be, so.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Well, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Havis, second by Mr. Joseph. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sinagra? Yes. Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Havis?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchell?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Ciotat?
Yes.
All right.
Hey,
There's
before
no
we
other
adjourn, Bridget, I just want to go on record and say, like, Dale, the 3% cost of living, all these ratifications, when we doing all this, and I want everybody out there to know that these guys are not making any money at all. I don't see how they living on what they making. It's pathetic. It's pathetic to me.
It's a calling, that's why they,
It is a calling, but you still gotta pay the light bill.
Yeah,
Right.
you gotta buy food.
So I just want the people out there to know that these guys are not making any money, and we need to figure out how we can improve that. And we need everybody out there's help to do that.
Yes,
And
sir. I agree.
I just want to go on the record and say that.
Amen, brother.
all right. If there's nothing else,
I just want to throw a shout out real quick. We had a houseboat fire in the Man Shack area, and our men and women raced out there. They got it put out. So Chief Joyner, thank you. All your crew that helped out, and we're going to do our best to get that area cleaned up. It's in the works. Yeah, and he said, if y'all didn't hear, we couldn't have done it without the fireboat. So that was pretty impressive, too, to
Yeah.
see that in action on the video, so.
Very good.
Thank y'all.
Good job, Chief.
Mr. Wells?
All right.